Zach.
How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, very well. Thanks so much for taking time to speak with me this afternoon. I really appreciate it.
Oh, sure, no problem. It's my pleasure. I'm glad we could make it work.
Most definitely, most definitely. So you're coming to my neck of the woods, Cape Breton,
Yeah,
Nova Scotia, on September the 11th at the Savoy Theater. Wow, man.
yeah. It'll be my first time playing out there at the Savoy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I've been out to the Maritimes a few times, but never the Savoy Theater. So I'm excited to play.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And to think back now, of course, you're going to be doing the tribute to Buddy Holly, correct?
yeah, that's right.
All right, right on. To think on how many songs that man had over the years, and what
Oh.
got you. Have you always been? First of all, if I may ask, have you always been a Buddy Holly fan?
Yeah, I've always been drawn to uh, the golden age of rock and roll. I think the gateway was the Beatles for me growing up. When I was in high school, they came out with the Beatles anthology, and I just really ate that up and kind of had a deep dive into that era. And then as an extension of that, some of my first CDs were, Jimi Hendrix, put on Creedence Clearwater, all this stuff from the 60s. And then kind of worked my way back a little bit. Who influenced these guys? Who did the Beatles really look up to? And obviously they looked up to Elvis and Chuck Berry and some of these guys, but maybe their biggest influence was Buddy Holly.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see why. Because Buddy Holly is a guy who, unlike some of the other huge performers from that era, Jerry Lee and Elvis, he wrote his own songs. That really set him apart, and I think that's why the Beatles really looked up to him. He's like, hey, here's a guy who he put together a band with his friends and wrote his own material and made something out of himself. So they kind of modeled, the Beatles after the Crickets. Kind of makes sense.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And of course, the movie Buddy Holly and the Crickets,
Yeah,
portrayed by Gary Busey, which
yeah,
was an absolutely fantastic performance.
yeah,
Oh my.
absolutely. Yeah, actually, I kind of got my start in a similar fashion, which was being cast in the Buddy Holly story stage adaptation.
Okay.
So, I was always into the music, and but I really kind of gained a deeper appreciation when I was cast to portray Buddy in that play. So that
Wow.
was in Ontario, and then
Okay.
it just kind of snowballed from there. I did the stage show, and then kind of did a few productions of that, and then moved on to doing the tribute in concert.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing, man. Amazing.
yeah,
Now, in the tribute to Buddy Holly, I'm sure you do all of Buddy's hits like That'll Be the Day, Not Fade Away.
yeah,
Probably every song that I'm mentioning, you probably, but then
yeah,
again, you only have so much time on stage. So I'm
yeah,
sure there's not time to get through every single song that Holly did, but
yeah.
I'm sure you do your best.
Well, yeah, it's his recording career only spanned it was less than 2 years,
Oh, yeah.
because he died so young. So, but it's incredible how many songs he was able to get on record in that time. It's kind of baffling in a way. But yeah, we in the tribute show, we do two sets,
Okay.
Act One and Two, and we definitely include all the greatest hits, like you mentioned. That'll Be the Day, Not Fade Away, Rave On,
Mhm.
Every Day,
Yeah.
Maybe Baby, Peggy Sue, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
But we also try to have a few surprises in there, maybe some songs that Buddy played that you haven't heard, maybe
Okay.
some unusual covers that he did. And
Yeah.
then we also expand a little bit and do some songs by Buddy's buddies. We do a little bit of Richie Valens
Oh, yeah.
and Eddie
Okay.
Cochran and
Eddie
some of the
Cochran. Wow.
guys associated with him, Dion.
Oh, Dion the
Um,
Belmonts.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
a real kind of try to give a full picture of uh, his influence, obviously his legacy, and the context. Some of the songs and people that inspired him.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And all well, according to the movie, now I can't say this part's true because I haven't really read too much research, but I believe that he loved Elvis Presley. I think he
Oh
was
yeah.
so I mean, yeah.
Oh, definitely. Like Buddy, he grew up in Texas,
Yeah.
and so he was um, very much enthralled with the country music scene early, and then a little bit of blues. He would kind of slip away to the blues bars on the outskirts of Lubbock. But it was really when Elvis came through town. I can't remember what the name of the tour. This is kind of before Elvis really, really blew up. Maybe 1955, maybe 56. He came through town at some kind of variety show. It might have been one of those like medicine show type traveling deals, and Elvis played in Lubbock, and Buddy and his friends went and saw the performance. And when they saw how Elvis carried himself and his moves, his
Yeah.
style and sound, I mean, Buddy just totally flipped and said that is what I want to do.
Wow.
I want
Yeah,
to
oh,
be
yeah.
like that, and totally,
Oh
changed
yeah.
his whole vibe.
Oh, definitely, definitely, definitely. And of course, the cricket names that are mentioned in the movie had to be changed because RCA they bought the rights to it. So when it comes to copyright material, you have to have
Yeah,
permission. And unfortunately,
yeah,
the movie people did not have that permission, so they had to
yeah.
change the cricket names to
That's
Jesse
right.
and Ray Bob, which are fictional names, of course.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's Jerry Allison and Joe Maudlin, and
Exactly, exactly.
yeah.
Nikki
So
Sullivan.
Nick, yeah, who was a cousin of Buddy's, and then
Yeah,
later it was Tommy Allsup was on tour
yeah,
with
yep.
Buddy,
Waylon
and
Jennings.
Waylon Jennings played bass on that
That's
last
correct.
tour that he was on.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then Waylon, of course, blamed himself after he died. Like,
Oh,
but anyways, I mean, we all know
yeah,
the story of that. Today is we're
yeah,
talking to you today, the guy
yeah,
that's going to be doing a tribute to Buddy Holly, which is
yeah.
going to be absolutely amazing on September the 11th, 2022. It's
That's
my
it.
goodness, the tickets are going on sale now at the Savoy Theater,
Yeah.
and people
Oh,
people are going to, and also I think the good people should be aware of, you have a Spotify thing going too. I just recognized that a few minutes ago. I
oh,
thought I
yeah.
saw some of your stuff is on Spotify.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's
Oh
just under my name, Zachary Stevenson, and I've
yeah,
got a
exactly.
couple of records that I put out of covers from the 50s and 60s, and a
Wow.
lot of it is Buddy Holly, but I got some Jerry Lee Lewis and
Mhm.
Elvis
Oh yeah,
and Hank Williams and some
Williams.
other songs on there as well.
Right
But
on,
yeah,
right
you
on.
can find me there.
Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely. And this is definitely good stuff. And the good people are definitely going to enjoy this.
Oh
I will
yeah,
be putting this in the paper, not yet, probably close to September when you're close to coming to the Savoy Theater. So,
great.
which I will be sending you an error message because I'm sure with the amount of interviews you're getting so far on this particular great tribute is absolutely phenomenal. And of course, it's hard to keep track of every single person who has interviewed you. So I
Sure.
will be sending you a message saying, "This is Jack. Remember I interviewed you,
Yeah,
back," and then you'll know then.
great.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
appreciate that. That'd be
Oh,
great.
not a problem, man. Not a problem at all. And what can I say? I mean, now this the Buddy Holly play you did, right? Was the
Yeah.
play or trip?
Yeah, yeah, it was a
Now,
play. It was a play. It was called the Buddy Holly Story.
okay, like did
Yeah,
it tell the whole story from like?
yeah. It's similar in structure to the movie, the Gary Busey movie. It
Okay,
starts out, kind of at the roller rink where they
yep,
take a risk and flip to rock and roll,
oh,
and
yeah,
all heck breaks loose,
Holly
and
V.
and Buddy's got to kind of pay for that. He's got to sort of struggle through a little bit of resistance. His
Wow.
manager wants him to stay country, but he's seen Elvis, and that's
Mhm.
where he wants to go. So he's got to kind of forge his own path, and eventually they get connected with Norman Petty, the
Yep.
producer, who gives them a shot. Allows them a lot more freedom in the studio, and eventually that it breaks. They have a couple of hits on the radio, but because promo was slim as far as images, and it's not like they got social media back then. They were initially confused for another group called the Crickets,
Okay.
and they were booked at the Apollo Theater.
Okay.
And so the end of Act One culminates with them showing up as a surprise at the Apollo Theater because everybody expected them to be a black group. They
Exactly. Exactly.
so they show up and have to kind of figure out how they're going to approach this. They're terrified, but eventually they're well received by the crowd, and that kind of establishes them as a legit
Oh
rock
yeah.
and roll force. And then the second act kind of focuses on Buddy's love story. He meets Maria Elena in New York, and then eventually hits the road on the Winter Dance Party tour. That's
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Now, according to the movie, and this is all about Buddy Holly, since I mean this goes what we're talking about, the tribute to Buddy Holly. We also learned that back in those days, things were a lot different than they are today. If you weren't